Welcome to Beyond Buzz. The bridge of the USS Chung-Hoon was tense as it sailed through the Taiwan Strait, a vital artery of global trade. What began as a routine U.S. Navy freedom of navigation operation quickly escalated. A Chinese warship appeared on the horizon, closing in fast. The Chinese destroyer shadowed the Chung-Hoon, shrinking the distance between the two ships. On radar, the Chinese vessel crept closer, the tension rising with every passing second. Suddenly, the Chinese warship cut sharply across the bow of the USS Chung-Hoon. The American destroyer slowed to avoid a collision, coming within just 150 yards of the Chinese ship. For a few heart-stopping moments, the fate of hundreds of sailors and the fragile peace between two superpowers hung in the balance. The incident was more than a close call. It was a stark reminder of the high-stakes struggle for influence in the South China Sea. Video of the near miss quickly spread, offering a rare glimpse into the risks of US-China military encounters. The world watched, wondering if this was a sign of a new, more dangerous chapter in the region's history. In these contested waters, a single miscalculation could have devastating consequences. The tension was a silent warning of the friction building beneath the surface. This was not just about two ships. It was about the future of peace in Asia. The stakes could not be higher. The world held its breath. To understand this confrontation, we need to look at the South China Sea's tangled history. The sea is bordered by China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, each with overlapping territorial claims. China's claim is the most sweeping, marked by the 9-dash line that covers nearly the entire sea. In recent years, China has built artificial islands equipped with military facilities, extending its reach far from the mainland. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled China's claims had no legal basis under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. China rejected the ruling, deepening the dispute. The conflict is about more than territory. It's about resources and control. The South China Sea holds vast oil and gas reserves and is home to crucial fishing grounds. 1/3 of global maritime trade passes through these waters every year. Whoever controls the South China Sea holds a key to regional stability and global commerce. That's why the stakes are so high. The dispute has become a major global issue. The world is watching. The United States and China are the main actors in this maritime drama. For China, the South China Sea is a core national interest and a strategic buffer. The U.S., meanwhile, insists on freedom of navigation for all nations. U.S. Navy operations challenge what Washington sees as excessive Chinese claims. The South China Sea is a superhighway for global trade. Over $3 trillion in goods pass through each year. Any disruption would have global economic consequences. For China, the sea secures energy imports and projects power. For the U.S., it's about supporting allies and maintaining open sea lanes. The clash of interests makes the South China Sea a potential flashpoint for crisis. The stakes are not just regional, they're global. Both sides are determined not to back down. The world's attention is fixed on these contested waters. The near collision happened on June 3, 2023, as the USS Chung-Hoon and Canadian frigate HMCS Montreal transited the Taiwan Strait. The Chinese destroyer CNS Suzhou overtook the Chung-Hoon, then veered sharply across its bow. The U.S. ship slowed to avoid a collision, coming within 150 yards of the Chinese vessel. The U.S. Navy called the maneuver unsafe and unprofessional, a violation of international maritime rules. The Taiwan Strait is one of the world's most sensitive waterways. Beijing sees Taiwan as a breakaway province. The U.S. insists on peaceful resolution and supports Taiwan's self-defense. By transiting the strait, the U.S. and its allies signal that these are international waters, a position China rejects. The Chinese warship's move was a forceful rebuttal to that signal. The incident underscored the risks of military brinkmanship. The world took notice. After the incident, both Washington and Beijing blamed each other. The U.S. condemned the Chinese ship's actions as reckless and dangerous. White House officials warned that such maneuvers could lead to disaster. The Chinese side accused the U.S. and Canada of provocation, insisting their own actions were professional. Each side claimed the other was at fault, reflecting fundamentally different views of the law and the region. The war of words is as fierce as the standoff at sea. Both sides are fighting for the international narrative. The public disagreement only deepens the divide. Diplomatic solutions seem more elusive than ever. The tension continues to rise. The world reacted quickly to the near miss. Canada, whose ship was involved, called the Chinese maneuver unprofessional and reaffirmed its commitment to freedom of navigation. U.S. allies like Japan and Australia urged restraint and respect for international law. Southeast Asian nations, caught between economic ties to China and security concerns, responded cautiously. Most called for peace and dialogue, wary of taking sides. International organizations like the UN and EU stress the need for calm and adherence to the rules. There's broad agreement that conflict would be disastrous, but few have the power to change China's behavior. The limits of diplomacy are clear. This close call highlights the risks of military miscalculation in the Indo-Pacific. Even a minor incident could spiral into a larger conflict. The U.S. relies on allies to present a united front, but such incidents test their resolve. Rising tensions are fueling an arms race across the region. Countries are boosting defense spending and modernizing their militaries. Every unsafe encounter erodes trust and makes diplomacy harder. The focus shifts from dialogue to deterrence. The region grows more volatile with each confrontation. The path to peace depends on restraint and renewed engagement. The stakes could not be higher. The USS Chung-Hoon incident is a symbol of the fragile peace in the South China Sea. It shows how quickly great power competition can turn dangerous. The open seas are now arenas of geopolitical struggle. Preventing future crises will require clear communication and a renewed commitment to diplomacy. The alternative is a future of constant close calls and rising instability. The world's peace and prosperity depend on keeping these waters open and governed by rules, not force. The challenge is immense. The future of global peace may hinge on what happens next in these contested waters.